This is Jeremy Wentworth-Stanley. I'm the fellow who has a hyphen in my name. The hyphen is silent, but I am anything but that. Living Attentively brings you a discussion today called Facing Challenges. And challenges are the ones that affect each and every one of us. We face challenges in life. We face challenges in our home life. We face challenges in our business life. You know what? We face challenges all the day and, frankly, at night time as well. How many times do you wake up in the middle of the night thinking of the challenges that are ahead of you? So therefore, if we can think about them, we then have also the right, the ability, possibly even the duty to face them. So we're going to face challenges. And I want to give you an approach today of how we do this. My name is Jeremy Wentworth-Stanley. I am your voice of Respectonomics. And we want to bring to you a level of attention not only to the challenges, but the attention to yourself. The example we're going to use today is 2,000 years old, believe it or not. It might be even longer than that. And we're going to be looking at the Roman soldier. Now, the Roman soldier was always very well armed. And we're going to be talking about the armor that he wore to go into battle. And before we go into battle, I want to emphasize one thing. Fascinatingly, what the Roman soldier was told to do was to arm himself properly. Fine. But then he was told, and this is a crucial difference, we think of military as going forward and going into battle, as it were. But it's interesting that the Roman soldier was told to put on the armor and then to stand still. We don't often do that. We have this extraordinary idea we must be moving. No, standing still. And the reason that the soldier was asked to stand still is because then he was ready for action, because he was prepared. But the key was to stand still first and foremost. So let's take a look at what did the Roman soldier wear? What was this armor? And the first thing he did is he had on a helmet, and that protected his head. His head was the most important part of his body, because without the head, the body cannot function. And you and I are the same. Our head is always one that needs protection, and it needs protection in two ways. It needs to be able to focus, and it needs to be able to know where to get help from. And one of the most extraordinary things about the helmet, in the Romans' helmet, was, if you looked carefully at it, yes, it covered the head, it was designed to protect the head, but it also had an extension at the back that therefore protected the neck. So when we look at protection, when you think of your head, just like when you have a headache and you massage your whole head, when you brush your hair, anything like that, you become very aware of the totality of your hair and of your head and your neck. It needs the focus, it needs the help, and it needs the protection. Because once your head is protected, then you are free to will your mind, your heart, to do the things that are necessary to face these challenges. The Roman soldier then had on a breastplate. Now, the breastplate covered his front. And this is an important distinction. It covered his front. And when we cover our front, that is how we have our relationships with other people. And we need to have the right relationships with other people. We all know in our hearts what a wrong relationship looks like, but we also know in our hearts, each one of us knows what a right relationship looks like. And when we have right relationships with other people, those are the relationships that form the breastplate in our armor. But here's something interesting about a breastplate. Think of it. It covers the front, but not the back. And that is where the soldier behind you is so important, because he's the one who's protecting your back. And just as much as we ask the soldier behind, it might be your spouse, it might be your fellow companion at work, it might be a friend, it could be anybody. But to ask somebody to hold your back and protect it is part of how we face challenges. And with that becomes a mutual responsibility to to protect the back of the one in front of you. Again, it's a mutual responsibility. My back is protected. I need to protect the back of the fellow in front of me. Then the Roman soldier had on this belt. Now, the belt was extremely important. The belt was actually much bigger than a sort of traditional belt that you put through your jeans and your loops and so on. It was a much wider belt and deeper. And what it designed to do was it carried things on it. It actually had hooks on it. So it would carry a water bottle, it would carry some additional armaments, it might carry some food. It had all kinds of things to it. It was integral to the way the soldier would be prepared for battle. But also, here's another thing. If your belt isn't on properly, we don't have to get too dramatic or too graphic about it, but when the belt isn't on properly, that's when the trousers, the pants can go in the wrong place, in the wrong direction. The belt is very important. And the belt, I mean, if you think of it, when your trousers are in the wrong place, you forget everything else because all you're doing is hitching them up. The key here is that the belt is truth, that when we exhibit truth, when we believe in the truth, when we seek the truth, when we become the truth, that is the belt on which the entire moral dimensions, all of our armor can hang, and where we can actually walk without impediment. The truth is always important. It's the belt that it ties us together. And then the Roman soldier would have a shield. Now, the shield, in fact, covered his entire body, and that was the height of it. And it had a leather skin to it. And the reason it had a leather skin to it is because the leather skin was soaked in water. Now, you might think, well, that's a bit heavy, but it would stand there. And the key point was enemy has a habit of sending these darts, and they were actually darts with flames attached to them, and they would be alight. And they wouldn't kill you. But can you imagine getting a dart in your skin with a flame with it's on fire? You would drop everything. And that's what happens when we face these challenges. They often are fiery darts, but the fiery darts depend on our ability to put up a shield. So, what is our shield? And our shield is that confidence that we have in ourselves. It's a way of saying, I have faith in myself. Faith is like a reservoir. It needs to be filled, it needs to be able to come into our lives and also to be able to go out. Confidence in yourself, which is the sister, therefore, to faith, is something that we can all have confidence in ourselves. And when we find our confidence is weak in ourselves, that's when we can either go bring on our faith, or we can go and ask other people, what is it that you do that gives you your level of confidence? But confidence is that shield that extinguishes those fiery darts. A fiery dart for the Roman soldier couldn't hurt, partly because the shield was covering the whole body, but also because the very nature of the moisture in the shield extinguished the flame. We can extinguish those flames as well. Then the two other things that the soldier had, he had a sword. And the sword was what he would, therefore, it was really brilliantly burnished. It was sharp, it was pointy, and all those things. And that sword was really his ability to speak. It was like his word. A word that we give to each other needs to be like a sword. But a word can only be brought about not only in our own character, but also the words that we read. And one of the keys to strengthening the sword is to read. And you may say, well, does that mean reading comics and magazines? Well, it can do. But one of the greatest techniques to build one's sense of word, to be a wordsmith, is to read every day, half an hour of non-fiction. Anything you want. It can be a history book, it can be a geography book, it can be a book on art, it can be a book on the economy, anything you want. Well, the economy could be fiction, couldn't it? But excuse me, the answer is that you need to build up your word. your catalog of words, which comes from reading and it comes from education. Education isn't a question of whether you have letters after your name. Education is that process by which we want to continue to learn. And having the word in your heart is like having a sword. Very powerful, very useful, and actually rather dramatic. Lastly, your feet. The Roman soldier had these leather sole shoes with a lattice work of lace that went up to his knees so that the shoe was fully secure. And that was so that when he was moving, he wouldn't be impeded by what we would commonly call a loose shoelace. It was very secure. And what was that? What is the representation of the feet of the Roman soldier? This is the ability to spread nice news. This is the ability to be able to look at one's feet and say, I am a messenger of peace. I am a messenger of harmony. I am not going to engage in gossip and abuse and spite and that kind of thing or revenge, but my feet are going to be the words of peace. We talked about how the sword gave me the words. We're now talking about the feet as the way of transmitting those words to other people. And when we transmit those words to other people, may they be the words of peace, of harmony, of appreciation, gratitude, thankfulness, hope, prosperity, enjoyment. Let's do that together. Tie up our shoelaces. The Roman soldier knew why he was doing it. Why don't we do the same? There you have how we face challenges. Think of the Roman soldier and let us go into this battleground not as the aggressor, but as the one who can stand firmly, confident in ourselves and in all the armaments that we have been able to create and to receive into ourselves. I rest my case.